What's going on, everyone? Josh Armijo here. Hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Anaal Nathrakh entitled Vanitas. This is released on Candlelight Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they're based out of Birmingham, England, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be an extremely chaotic, raw, angry blending of black metal with some grindcore elements thrown in there. And over the last couple of albums, they've included some industrial and avant-garde tinges to their sound. I mean, this is a band that's not afraid to be experimental or creative, and they've really made some sick music over the last decade or so. Albums that come to mind for me would definitely be their debut, The Codex Necro, Eschaton, and In the Constellation of the Black Widow. I thought those albums were just absolutely sensational. And 2011 really showcased this band continuing their willingness to be creative with Passion. I thought Passion was just an absolutely monstrous kind of a record. There was so much going on, you didn't even really know what to expect or how to take it in. Just the way the guitar riffs sounded, the heaviness of the atmosphere, the way the drums pulsated, the way they sounded, the craziness in Vitriol's vocal delivery. That album had it all, and it was a great record. And coming into Vanitas, I didn't honestly know what to expect or how to feel. It's their seventh full length. It's 10 tracks, and it runs around 39 minutes in length. And this album basically, I don't want to say it eases back a little, but this album really doesn't have an abundance of short songs like the last record did. But with the absence of the shorter songs, this album definitely verges a lot more towards extreme metal at times. There's moments on here where it honestly doesn't even sound like black metal. But honestly, when it does, it executes and takes full advantage of that opportunity, and it's just crazy. I've listened to this album about 3 or 4 times, and honestly, I don't know whether I like this album more than I do Passion, but I still think this album is a definite bump up in class for this band. I really dig what's going on here, and there's just a lot to sink in and enjoy. Guitar-wise, it's what you would expect from an Anaal Nathrakh record, just boom, boom, boom. That's the way the guitars sound on this record. Just the way the riffs are. Very, very chaotic, very distorted. Just the way the riffs sound, the high leads, the tremolos, they sound fantastic. To the more almost progressive metal style sounds, like I want to say on the tracks To Spite the Flag and Todos Somos Humanos. Just the way the guitar riffs sound on those tracks are just absolutely crazy. You don't expect those kind of riffs to happen, but they do. And the solo work on here is top-notch as usual. I just love the way the solos sound for this album. They really work well. Nothing flashy or fancy. They're just played very well. Bass-wise, it's a good solid bass tone. It's there. It sounds pretty good. It's not dominant like the guitars are on this album, because this is a guitar-dominated type of a record. It's good. I would have liked to have heard it just a little bit more, but still, I think the bass tone works here. Just expect it to be overshadowed a little bit by the guitars. Drum-wise, I know the drums are programmed for albums, if I'm not mistaken. I know they do have a live drummer, but the way the drums sound on here are just absolutely pulsating. And more pulsating for this band's industrial influence, because there's moments on here where you feel like you're in the midst of a dance club. Just the way the industrial parts of the drums sound, it's just crazy and chaotic. But there are some definitely great drum patterns going on here. Just the way the blast beats and double bass sound, it's just crazy. The way the fills are, the rolls, to the more slower paced tracks, like I want to say Feeding the Beast. That's one of the songs on here that definitely showcases the band at their true black metal roots. It sounds awesome, and I dig the pace on that song. And vocal-wise, Vitriol is a monster. His vocals are just absolutely crazy. Just his demented demeanor in the way he screams, the way he lets out the words that he does. Because I know this band really isn't too fond of showcasing lyrics or talking about lyrics. You would have to hear it as best as you possibly can, but the way he delivers the vocal ranges, it's just stunning. Just his screams, his growls. I love the fact that he differentiates between the high screams and the lower register growls. They sound sick. And the singing that you heard on the last record shows up in force here. And it's over the top, it's bombastic, it's what you would expect from this craziness that this band has to offer. I want to say the closing track, A Metaphor for the Dead, he breaks out into some pretty operatic kind of singing, not high tenor or bass, not high tenor kind of vocals, but the style of singing that he had on the last record, he does it in an operatic style. It's crazy. I don't know how others might feel about it, but still, I think it's enjoyable. So, overall, this is another really solid entry into the Anaal Nathrakh discography. There's a lot of craziness going on with this record, and if you're a fan of this band, you'll definitely have something to enjoy here. I don't know if I like this album more than I do Passion, but I still think this album is a definite headbanger. It is awesome, and it's definitely worth owning. If I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would have to say the opening track, The Blood Dim Tide, To Spite the Face. Track 5, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it because I know I might butcher it. You Can't Save Me, So Stop Fucking Trying, and Feeding the Beast. This album is available now overseas. It will be available for US distribution in November. Definitely pick this album up when it comes around the time to get it when it comes to the US. Again, the album is Vanitas by Anaal Nathrakh. This is released on Candlelight Records. Check this album out, and I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Really strong 8. I love what I hear here. There's just a lot of craziness going on. That's the typical Anaal Nathrakh way. Support this band. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Army Ho out.